Hey guys, how's things?
Alright, Dan,
What's
it's
the
me.
story?
Hey, um, we don't really know what's happening here because Jake
Right,
just told us to speak to you. So
yeah, no, well, I'll run through the
I'm
basics.
Swizz, by the way. So I am the manager of the team.
Cool,
Oh
no
God.
bother. First off, probably I'm sure you feel the same because as far as I'm aware, you guys are going to I Series under TCM.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna guess it's just everything that will stay in this call stays in this call.
Well, yeah,
Just
we've
obviously to
already
keep your nose clean and obviously,
yeah
we'll
we've got
just
everything booked with TCM for I
yeah.
series. So like,
So just obviously not to let it out because I don't want to get you guys in trouble with TCM, even if things don't work out between us. And just vice versa sort of thing. Um, realistically, CSE originally started up as an Xbox or sorry, a PlayStation org, and we're going to hold out until EGL8 before announcing our Xbox team. So we're skipping iSeries. However, we were kind of keeping an eye on who was about on the Xbox side of things. I just kind of looking up on the history of the teams, and it's why I got onto to you guys is because from what I can see, you've practically had the same roster, bar like one change. Now I know at EGL7 you had a pickup, but I think you've only had one roster change in the last two or three lands. Am I right?
Yeah, that was me, Hammers. But yeah, the pickup thing was obviously a bit annoying because
Yeah,
I
well
got, I got,
you can't help that. If someone
yeah,
gets sick, someone gets sick.
I got food poisoning from a really bad McDonald's, so I couldn't really
You
help
know,
it.
I blame Fear for that. I do because to be honest, he should have finished top three, but that's just I don't know. I'm only messing anyway. Long story short, funding um from your team org. What do you get and what do you want?
Swizz trying to give it away.
all right, yeah, sorry. Basically at the minute, the past couple of lands, what the team's got is their hotel and their ticket. That's under TCM. Now, if we can start getting placement top three consistently, they're talking about offering travel as well. But
Hmm,
right now, it's just hotel and
ticket, your
tickets
jersey.
and potential to go to America for Black Ops 2. But again, that's just all talk. Nothing's guaranteed. So we're
Yeah,
just playing it by ear every event.
cool. In right, just a couple of bits because I have spoke to bits and pieces with the other guy. So I'm sorry, I can't remember his name offhand. Um, but regardless, what do you want from an orc? Just as a team, where do you want to be, and what do you want support with, or realistically, are you just a case of we just want to compete, go?
Um, I like, just all the standard things really, but we do want a few you know, special things that are just for us, which can really bring the team together. I mean, there was a talk within TCM that we would get our own dressing room, basically. Well, not our dressing room, but just like a little room for us all to be together in at LAN events, so we can like really keep our game sense together and all that stuff. And we couldn't really get that with any other org, but TCM were pushing for it, and it is a possibility. Um, they've been talking about a few sponsors such as Astro coming in, giving us headsets and a lot of funding from them personally.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Rich, got anything to add to that? Or is he there? Or is he going mute as usual? Rich?
What about
See, as
Swizz? What will Swizz get a part of this deal? As we don't want to leave our manager for like 6 months or so now.
Say that again.
What will Swizz be like? Will Swizz be part of the agreement as a sort of fifth player, as to say?
Well, what's on the table for him? I want the team, so open it up. I'll tell you what our offer is. It's tickets, accommodation, and pre-land for EGL8, and probably matching the same for EGL9, depending on situation and your team. So it would depend on him. The one thing that CSC would have going towards us is that there is a way for your team to earn capital between events. So in that case, if he's managing your team and can manage pretty much, he's going to work alongside CSC in regards to ways that can make us money. We have no problem in handing commission over towards him in regards to, or him as in your team, and it's up to you guys how you dish that out, whether it's a case of if he's going to look after the marketing side of that and he's doing all the work on that end, well then...
Well, I've been with the team now, as I said, for about 6 months now, and I do help them a good bit, doing all the sort of, the boring job no one else wants to do, organising scrims and just like moral support, telling them where they're going wrong, watching the games, and then just like in between games and stuff at LAN, I'm watching. If I see a flaw, I'll let them know. If they need something to drink, I go and get it, just like a coach more sort of role, but I can do a bit of management, I suppose, like with the right training.
If to do it that way, I suppose the best offer that I could do is to take you on as just one of our console managers, or obviously their team coach, would be your first priority, and to work off that. For example, it depends. There's this other sponsors offering a couple of bits and pieces and what really comes through. But one of it is they're funding $20 for every jersey we produce with their name on it in regards of advertising, which practically covers the entire cost. So things from like the Avenger, we get $10 for every one that gets sold with our reference on it, plus whoever buys it gets a discount and free postage worldwide. So in that sense, if you can push any of them, that's money towards CSE, which is practically going to cover your expenses. The same for the jerseys, if we can get a couple of them sold. Because I know, for example, N-Control, our sponsor, is selling them in the US.
Okay.
So
What's required of the team as players in the contract? What's in their terms? Like
we're going to be looking to hold a top 10 team. So that's going to be a big thing for us. Now, obviously, I know that things can go pear-shaped. So, we'll see what way things go there.
What about prize money?
Prize money, I think that's negotiable, but that is negotiable. So I think that's probably left for a later stage when your entire team is here.
Okay. Do we?
We're not here to fleece you guys. At the end of the day, for us, what you guys will be for us is our first step into Xbox.
Okay.
And that's what we want, and we're gonna support that team all out. So what I have is tickets, accommodation, and pre-land for you guys. In terms of your coach, for EGL8, your coach pass is probably as far as I'm willing to stretch on that. Because it wasn't originally planned when we did our contract with our sponsors. So I'll cover that for you to make sure you can get in there and stay with your team. But like I said, if you can help bring capital to CSC, I'm not in it to screw over any teams. I'm more than happy to look after you guys if you're looking after us. Because at the end of the day, the more we can show we're doing for sponsors gives us a better reach and possible future sponsors.
Dan, what about other perks to push us above the other orgs? Like Hammers was saying earlier. Like, I know nothing's happened as far as this goes yet, so it may just be talk, it may never have happened, but TCM were looking into getting us a lounge for in between games, so like we can get away from the stress and sweat of the LAN hall and just maybe scrim by ourselves and just keep on top of our game and like just not get carried away. And I know that won't come anytime soon, but is there any sort of perks that you'd look at other than the pre-LAN to push us above the rest?
To be honest, I would look at it, but it's not on the cards just yet.
Okay.
To be honest, what I have available for you, I have no problem giving you the maximum amount. When I was talking to him earlier on today, I just laid it straight on the table. This is my maximum offer, and you can have it without any kind of ifs, buts, or trying to get the cheap on you. I'm trying to think the best thing. To be honest, I'll tell you what the story is with this other crowd. This other company that's coming on board, they've offered us full team tickets and half travel for they actually said half flight for a team that will pull top 5 in a major online tournament. LAN position will also be included in that. So if you pull top 5, pretty much we get double. We're going to have 2 sponsors offering us full funding or full entry for you guys, so that will give us an extra £250 available to spend on your team.
I've got a question here that has to stay between us, yeah. But we've been thinking of we've been speaking to Gotaga or Gotaga, however you want to say it, and we've been thinking of replacing him with Jake. Would that affect us, our funding or anything?
I just want the top 10 team. If you're gonna pull top 8, I couldn't give a shite if Barney's on your fucking team. It's probably the best way. I know it's a bit abrupt way to say it to you, but to be honest, it's the team. It's up to you guys. I don't want to affect your team, or you've done well up to now, making your own decisions. I shouldn't see why I would impact on that. So if you guys think it's the best move for your team,
well, he's one of the most marketable players on Xbox right now. So
it's either him or Bakesy. So
yeah, Bakesy's also been here and talks about us. He brings a lot to the 360 scene, and he's an absolutely class player with multiple LAN wins underneath his belt. So I think he could bring a lot, and just wondered if that would affect us at all.
Well, at the end of the day, if your new player is going to make your team better, at the end of the day, that's making our team better, like CSE teams better. So, to me, it doesn't make any odds, but I will put something in it that if, for example, you decide to make a move and just completely destroys your team, that we have the option to opt out. Because I'm looking for a long-term team. We'll definitely see. We're not going to turn around and say, yeah, we'll take you to EGLA and pull out. If I say I'm taking you to EGLA, I will. But it will be the option that will more than likely offer you more than one LAN. But if you've decided to make a terrible decision or your team isn't performing, I won't risk the funding that CSC have on the team. So if you reckon it's the right move and it is the right move, by all means, fire ahead.
A lot more money than you were spending. Would there be like possibility of salaries?
We'll take that when it comes.
Okay.
It's probably the best way. Yes, there would be. Like I said, I'm not in it to make a force softy. To be honest, for me, it's just CSC is just something I really enjoy doing, and I want to be just involved in the community. So to me, it's not about money. It'd be great if I got in my head, it's just been great with a couple of samples I've been given to hear Trollber review on YouTube. I'm delighted with that idea. And yeah, I'm down money, but I honestly couldn't care. It's just to be active in the community is what I want. So if we've got extra money, and especially if a team is earning us extra money, it's going to be spread out between you guys, because if you guys are, for example, the guts of the bread and butter of CSC, why not make sure that you guys are happy and stick with CSC? So down the line, like if we've got excess money to spend, or we have enough revenue coming in from an event, the likes of what you're saying, like your dressing room, gaming room, chill out place, like that is probably one of the first. Like if you reckon that's what you want as your first key priority, well, we'll get that sorted. But it's all based on what's available.
Would it be possible to, in the contract, get a loyalty bonus or an appearance fee?
Such as?
With TCM, we have a loyalty bonus of £50 if we stay with them for a year, and we get paid that every year. And appearance fee, we get paid £100 if we appear at all LAN events in a year.
The loyalty bonus, I would be happy to do if you're willing to sign into a year-long contract. I'll have to see what the story is with the appearance fee.
But that has to be every single event that we can possibly attend. That's the only way we get the appearance fee. And
I do understand. I would have to just spend a bit more time looking into it.
We have a clause for Swizz, who's technically our agent manager. Swizz gets an agent fee if we sign with a new org, so that would have to be on the card as well, most likely, if Swizz wants it. But only if Swizz wants it.
The contract is with me to provide the team, and TCM are then contracted with me. So,
but you're just a manager, or you're just a manager, not a player?
I've just got a manager role. It's just really like what they're trying to say is I'll be coming with the team. Like we just want to be sure of that.
You could. I don't mind you coming with the team, but I'm here looking for the team, and the expenses are there. To be honest, to start signing bonuses and left, right, and centre for an extra manager. We have a console manager. Like if you want Swizz to come, we'll look after him. But
yeah, I see Swizz as a father figure to a lot of us, and it makes sense if he comes with us because it
Yeah,
definitely improves our game.
I have no problem with that. But signing fees for him to come, that's, we can look after him for coming to events and stuff like that to a degree. But to start handing, he went to TCM, but he didn't come to CSC. So why would I sign him? Why would I? And I'm not trying to be insulting, but why would I pay him for signing you guys when I was the one who came looking to you guys and not vice versa?
It's in our TCM contract that we have to place within the top 20% at every event, or our contract's gone. So basically, like, if we were to flop the I-Series LAN, we'd no longer be under contract, and we could probably move to CSC for free. And to be honest, it's going to have no effect on us as players because we've already got everything paid for us to go to Telford. But that's what they're basically saying is it's a clause where there is a signing on fee because it means that
what is your minimum term contract with TCM?
Well, because of the different amount of teams that go to every event, we do have to place within the top 20% of the teams that attend.
But what's your contract to TCM to say you have to stick with them after LAN?
We're currently on a 1-year contract, but like you said, if we don't place in the top 20%, we will get dropped.
And when was your contract originally signed with TCM?
After
it was
EGL5.
After EGL5, yeah.
About a week, I think.
So we're currently like 3 or 4 months in. But we can just like make it so we don't finish in the top 20% if we really want to leave the org. And then we'll get dropped, so we can get out of our contract quite easily.
Can you send me over a copy of your contract?
We're not allowed to send the contract out. It's an agreement with TCM. The contract cannot be leaked to anyone.
There was an incident a while ago on Deserto, if you want me to find the thread, where there was an organisation basically using the exact same contract from another org. So basically, our contracts are solely between us and them. If you need to know anything, like questions, we can try...
I just don't want to sign to you guys and offer you guys a contract that when you're still bound with them. Is it a case that TCM have the option to drop you, or you're automatically dropped?
Or automatically dropped.
You're automatically dropped.
That's what happened after...
But does it actually state that in your contract? Or can they turn around and say, yeah?
Basically, if we're not meeting the ends of the contract and placing in the top 20%, then the contract will be reconsidered. And we'll not reconsider, we'll have to work a new contract with the team, providing both parties still want to stick. So as soon as we don't reach that top 20%, everything will come into discussion, whether we want to stay and whether they still want us. Providing both parties still want to be within the team, then we'll work out a new contract. Maybe our support will go down because we haven't been playing as well, and we'll go from there.
But with the way you're sponsored by End Control, this is a big issue because when we pick up Bakesy, he is sponsored by Scuff, I know for sure, Control Freak, and Hapag, some video company anyway. What is with your sponsors? Can we have personal sponsors like Bakesy and Gataga?
To be honest, the sponsors are CSC sponsors, they're not player sponsors, so if you've got your own personals, that's really up to yourself. You know what I mean? That's up to you. We would look for you guys to try to push or to work with CSC in regards to getting the sponsors on board with the entire organisation, but...
This is going to sound really stupid, but there's orgs out there that actually have this, so I want to clear it up. See, as far as it goes for players going out at LAN, drinking and stuff, what's the rules there?
I want a team that's going to do well. If you go out and go like what you do in your own time, in your own personal life, is up to you. But I would expect you to represent CSE in the best possible light. So in other words, if I catch you out fucking knocking the head off another team the night before, I seriously won't be impressed. And your position within the team will be questioned because is it worth our will and having it? But in regards to a bedtime, lads, you're grown men, or lads or teenagers. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say go to bed at 10 o'clock, but I expect you to be fighting fit in the morning of LAN.
No, that's fair enough. We respect that. What about accommodation? What sort of stuff are we looking at? Apartment, house, hotel?
Probably hotel, to be honest.
Store, B&B.
I was thinking maybe, something like, cribs or something, but sadly our accountant just got stretched that far, so it'll probably just be hotel. And if, or depending on what funding is available, we can expand on that. But for the moment, it'll stand, and we'll make sure you guys have your accommodation sorted. But I'm not going to guarantee a 5-star hotel swimming pool in your bedroom.
Okay. Do you know? Okay, how Swizz was going on about like rules of going out at night. I know that a lot of orgs think like, have you heard about Momo and Julie? How it's brought a lot of like negative light to the organisation that they were in. A lot of orgs now are coming up with like, they don't want you to have relationships with other gamers. Would you be the same as this?
When you say relationships to other gamers, does that mean you're going to like start bumming lads in Optic, or?
No, I mean girl gamers.
Don't lose them. After that, I don't care. Lads, I'm not here to take over your life or to take over your team. I want your team to represent us. So represent us in the best possible light, and I couldn't give a shit what you do. Probably the easiest way I can say. I'm not going to tell you, sorry, you can't fucking, you can't have a good time after 9 o'clock, or you can't have sex the night before LAN. You know what I mean? I really don't mind, but...
Dan, have you heard of an organisation called Equilibrium?
I've heard of them.
Just they're another org that we've been having talks with as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Apparently they came from PS3, but we don't know a lot. Are they trustworthy?
Do you not know Equilibrium? No, I thought it was actually this thing.
No.
Oh, okay. I'll leave it to yourselves. I'm not going to comment on them. Because I have a very one direction mindset. So about them. Look, come here. If you've got guys who are admin on fucking EOE Sports, between the amount of team they've picked up on for PS3 and Xbox, and they're saying they're funding, best of luck getting it out of him. Maybe he is full of money. I don't know. I don't know the guy, but for some 19-year-old to be fully funding 3 teams. And
they offered us a penthouse for the next event.
So you've got a penthouse for your event. You've got Western Wolves full funding. You've got Chris's team to fund 30 jerseys. A squid grip to like everybody who comments on a thread of his. Like, by all means, if you reckon you're getting a better deal from them, you know what I mean, fire ahead. But personally, I would just use my top one.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider something? This has never happened in gaming. I'm just speculating now. But basically, if you ever watched Italian football, you can get some players that are owned by 2 clubs, like Juventus and Inter Milan. Would you ever consider
as in like a joint org team?
Well,
I think it happened at EGL 7. Was it? With my pressure on someone? I think my pressure on someone.
Maybe 14s. They were in 14s before. I'm not sure.
No, give me 1 sec. Give me 1 second, because I have this. Someone mentioned it to me yesterday. Anyway, long story short, there was an org that had...
Actually, you know what? Back at ECL2, there was Mythics and Carnage, 2 teams, and they had 2 players from each team wearing different jerseys. It's just sort of as well, like, we could it splits the money between both of you, and we'll be representing both teams potentially.
Why split the money between 2 when I can afford to do it myself?
Well, just because they were talking about the penthouse and stuff, but I'm not sure if they're good.
If you want to go with Equilibrium, I'm not going to fight you. I want you guys to represent us. I don't want you to represent someone else. So it's your call what you guys want to do.
Okay. Do you know like how Black Ops 2 is focusing more on bringing it to the public? If it ever got so big that like we were common knowledge to the public, would you ever expect us to like do sign-ins, like go into places and sign in for people if it brought you in money?
This is something that happened with Royalty.
I'm gonna say this because and not to be kind of negative or like that on you, but Yes, if it meant money in between your pockets, my pockets, and the rest of CSC, yeah, no problem. But there's a lot of ifs in that sentence.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? I'll be realistic with you. I'm not going to tell you what is going to happen in the future. I'm not telling you what I would hopefully want in the event that you could possibly maybe do something. But on the here and now, I'll tell you what I want. And if and when CSC or your team gets to be that big that the general public are going to queue up to see you guys, I will be all over that and support you 110%. But let's cross that bridge when we get to it.
Okay.
What about match fixing?
What?
With match fixing in the contract, like we've got match fixing clause because you can bet on esports now with Paddy Power.
Can you?
For match fixing, like what's the deal on that?
Yeah, Dan, you've been able to bet on esports on Paddy Power since ECL2, but it's a bit funny. Last event they didn't have it, some events they do. I'm not too sure what's going on, but they have offered odds for a few events in Modern Warfare 3, so I think it's just sort of they threw it in just on the off chance. Not that we've ever really had a problem with match fixing, but yeah.
I don't know, great crack on that, but I'll have to come back to you on that one because I really don't know. I don't know what the story is. Don't do it.
I've heard some orgs are looking at purchasing a gaming house, like where the players would actually live in and play COD together to like grow team. So would that ever be a possibility, or would?
Oh yeah, it would definitely be a possibility when you become players of that level.
Okay.
Again, I'm not gonna. Rich, and I don't want to speculate on what could happen down the line sometime. Hopefully, maybe. You know what I mean? For the here and I'll talk about here and now.
I know it is a bit of a fantasy and all, though. But like, if you were going down that route, would we have a say in the location or the house or anything?
No, I want you to live next door to me.
It doesn't affect any of us in the call. It's only Jake because sometimes his sister goes and watches him. Like, we've never had it in our organisation because, well, we've just never asked for it. But say things are going well and like we are one of the top teams, would you look into funding a spectator? Just like 1 or 2 each per player, VIP sort of thing.
Just walk into the event and don't pay. The easiest way. But no, seriously.
If it's possible.
You're to be honest, I'm going to knock it on the head. Down the line, we will talk about these things. I will give you a bare minimum in regards to a contract in terms of what we'll cover, and anything positive or extra that we can do, we will do it. But I don't think right now we're in the position as either your team or CSC to be talking about that sort of stuff.
What would you expect? Like, do you know the free to enter? Like, sometimes this massive like free throw tournaments, like the one for COD XP last year that I won. Would I be expected to give like anything that I won, like a percentage to you if I'm representing your org?
If we're paying for it, to be honest, we will.
But if it was free to enter, would you expect anything back, or would I just keep the prize?
You didn't win the COD XP free for all. Shoot my fruit did.
It was me.
You caught lying.
No, it was me.
Shoot my fruit one, and I wasn't rich.
What? I'm pretty sure I took you to COD XP, Ryan.
Mate, you took me, but John won it.
Right, I think that should be the end of it because we don't really have much more. Basically, from now down, what we've got to do is we've got to speak to Jake, of course, and let him know what's happening, as well as basically deciding what we're going to do with Gotag and whatnot, and then look towards iSeries with TCM. But basically, after iSeries with TCM, we'll speak to the Team Competitive.members community and see where we'll go. But thanks for your help.